Welcome to this week's episode of Inside the SPHL. Had a great week of hockey this last weekend, and we'll get to all of that. But as always, I always try to bring a guest on for you, and I got a really good one this week. As always, I always got good guests. So this Peoria fans, hopefully you guys will jump on and tell your friends about this one. So this week I got a Peoria Rivermen legend, loved by everybody there and hated by everybody else. He's been in the league for a while. He actually even won a championship in the FHL with the Watertown Wolves at one point. And he's been with Peoria for the last 5 years now. And with no further ado, Cody Dion. Welcome to the show, man.
What up? How's it going?
Oh, good, man. Good. How's things going in Peoria?
Oh, staying warm inside. Got the window out there. It's about 11 degrees right now. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. See, down here in Alabama, we're at about 46 degrees, and everybody's freezing their balls off. So
it's golfing weather for us.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah. But it's hockey weather, right? I mean, that's what we all look forward to is when the snow starts falling.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get this thing going. So I kind of talked to you before we came on, which about how your elite prospects is all jacked up and they're wrong. They say you live in Colorado Springs, or well, you're born and raised there, but you're actually from Canada, correct? And then you came down after that.
Yeah, Prince George, British Columbia.
Yeah, so
and moved down as a baby, so just long enough to say I was born there, then went to the States.
Yeah. Does that mean you get dual citizenship since you've been here your whole life?
Yeah, I do. I played juniors up in Alberta, and I had a job and everything, just like a regular Canadian.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a really pretty area up there too. That's somewhere that I'd like. I've seen pictures. I act like I've been there, but I haven't.
Pictures look good for anything with that.
Yeah, that's right. No, the picture outside your window kind of looked like shit. I don't want to be out there. No, I'm kidding. But so what brought you to Colorado? What brought the family to move down there?
My mom and dad met at Denver University.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was the captain at DU back in the 80s, and my mom was a gymnast. So they met there, and then he tried to get her to go to Canada, and she said, "No way, it's too cold." So they were there for a couple of years, and then moved back to Colorado.
I got you. I didn't know your dad was a pioneer. See, I'm from Colorado originally, so I'm a big DU fan. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, back in the 80s, he was the captain.
That's cool. That's awesome. So whenever you got there, I mean, did you jump into hockey right away because it was kind of a family tradition whenever you got of age to be able to start playing, or?
Yeah, I don't think I really had a choice.
No.
No. I think like as soon as I came out, they just threw a hockey stick in my hands, like whether I wanted to or not.
Yeah, that's all. Well, and down there in Colorado Springs area, hockey's always been a pretty big thing. I mean, when the Avalanche came to town, people really started taking notice. But I mean, Colorado College and DU, they've always been big down there. So
yeah, and we have USA Hockey, the headquarters in Colorado Springs. So like all the rules that they make for youth hockey comes out of there, all that stuff.
So that's where you need to go, everybody, to boycott this stuff. If you're pissed off about USA Hockey stuff, go to Colorado Springs.
Yeah. I'll show you where the office is.
Yeah, there you go. But so you still live there during the off season and everything, right?
Yeah.
So
go down there for a few months.
What do you do in your free time there, man? I mean, there's a lot to do around there with Pikes Peak and all that shit. I mean,
yeah, like hiking, like any outdoor stuff. There's some lakes, some like rapids. You can whitewater rafting and stuff like that. But yeah, I mostly just hang out with my friends, try and skate. I got a men's league team. We're called the Waffles.
Nice.
And we have a pretty fun time. We got an Instagram and everything.
That's awesome. That's got to be a good time. So those are the fun ones because it's really, I mean, who really cares when you're playing? You're just out there to have fun, so no pressure, right?
Yeah, that's what you think, but then we get pretty intense. I got booted out of the last tournament we were in. Like somebody gets kicked out of every tournament.
What'd you do to get kicked?
We were losing, and I kind of hit a guy, and it's non-contact, and then somebody came up to me, asked me what my problem was, and I and then I said something and turned around and sucker punched me in the face.
Oh.
and and so we both got kicked out. I didn't swing back or anything, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that is funny. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a laugh about it after. Our
do
goalie got kicked out the same game.
oh, really?
So then
What
one
it
of the players had to go change into the goalie gear.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So how'd the game end up without it with a different player in goal and you're not out there? I mean,
We didn't make the finals.
no.
I think we
No.
probably lost that one like 10-2.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough, but that's great. What'd the goalie do to get booted?
Uh, he basically slashed the guy, but he said he tried to like rope him in with the stick, but he got him right, like just hooked him right in with the
Oh,
paddle.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Fun stuff, man. So I seen, and I guess I should have asked you this before, but you did a year of college at in Alabama at UAH, didn't you?
Yeah,
So
I did.
what brought you there from? I mean, that's a Division I school too. So how'd you end up there?
So since being in Colorado, there's Colorado College, and their head coach really liked me as when I was in high school. So he said he wanted me to go play 2 years in Alberta for junior hockey, and then they're going to offer me a scholarship at CC.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, great. And then he ended up leaving, and they got a new coach. And then I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I still had another year of juniors I could have gone through, but UAH called me and said, hey, one of our centermen is leaving, so we just want to give you his scholarship.
Well,
Uh,
nice.
and they flew me out there, and it was finals weekend, and it's hot, like everybody's in flip-flops and shorts. And the whole goal on fly downs is to show the recruit a good time, so these guys are getting ready for finals, but yet they're trying to party with me.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Uh,
oh, this is nice, warm weather. We're Division 1, and like they're always having fun.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's a good
Yeah,
school. It sucks that they've kind of fallen from grace and didn't get to play this last year, but that's a good
yeah.
school, man.
Well, it's a smart school, so I don't know how I was there.
Hockey, man. Good
Yeah,
hockey will get you in a lot of places.
yeah.
So,
But
yeah,
I think our record showed we had more fun than we did hockey.
yeah. It didn't
Uh,
pan out. What was it? Does it show the record on here?
I think we won 6 games.
Oh, it just has your stats.
Yeah.
You were dash 11. I don't know if you want me to bring that up. I mean, you had 2 goals that year.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so that was cool. So I mean, you got any good college stories then? I mean, if you're saying that they were trying to entertain you when they were getting ready for the finals weekend, I mean, there's got to be something maybe, or maybe
Yeah.
for a later date.
We had a knack for getting in trouble. Uh, we we had like $3,000 worth of damage at a campsite for our rookie party. So we went whitewater rafting, and then we were staying at this cabin afterwards, and you get like 25 young hockey players together, and they're all drinking beers and stuff. And we like threw the picnic table into the fire, and we tried to chop down a tree with the plastic oars. And so it cost money to uproot the tree that we destroyed.
Wow.
And they just called our dean, and our dean's like, not a chance. So we got in a lot of trouble for that one.
Oh wow. How far into the tree did you get with the plastic ore?
Honestly, I don't think we got very far at all.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to work very good. But I mean,
Yeah,
you always get good ideas like that when you get a few in you, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's awesome. So let's jump back a little bit and let's talk about when playing juniors in Alberta. So I know a lot of those guys, they get drafted and stuff. How did you get did the coach at CC get you kind of a spot up there? Or?
Yeah, they had a guy from the team going to play for him for CC. So they're like, yeah, we know the coach up in Okotoks, Alberta. Good coach. He's going to develop you the way we want. So go there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, that's right. Was that a pretty good experience playing there? I mean, I'm looking at your numbers right now, and I mean they look pretty good in the 2 seasons that are showing. As long as Late Prospects is right, anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like you
Oh,
had a good time on the ice. So
yeah, it was. I liked it a lot up there, but being from Colorado, you don't really know much about like junior hockey, like major juniors, and
yeah,
uh, so I thought you had to play Division I hockey to go anywhere. And
yeah,
then up there, they're like, yeah, why wouldn't you be in the WHL?
yeah,
Like 6'4", 190 at 18. Why wouldn't
yeah.
you? And I was like, no, I got to go to college. And then I got to college and I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah. Like I should have went to the
Yeah.
WHL. So, did you have any offers to do that?
No, like I could have like I didn't even seek it out. Like
No.
because I was like, I'm going to college.
Yeah, yeah. That was kind of the same way I looked at it. Granted, I mean, obviously, I never played hockey at any major level. I'm just sitting here talking about it all the time. But that was the way I always thought about it growing up too. I was like, yeah, you got to go to DU, CC, Boston, one of them schools. That's where you go to make it somewhere. Yeah, I had no clue until I was in probably my early 20s that there was this whole junior development league in Canada, and that's where everybody's coming from. So
Yeah, right.
it's like, oh well, yeah. There's a lot that people are missing, but not to take away. I mean, there's a lot of good guys that come out of D1 schools, but yeah, I imagine you could have had a really good time being what you said 6'4" at 18.
Yeah,
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 that would have been a blast. So you had 121 penalty minutes your last year there, and so that tells me that you were throwing some of that weight around probably.
yeah. Trying to.
Was there fighting in that league?
Yeah, there was some
Yeah,
fighting. Yeah, there was
yeah.
some actually some pretty tough guys to come out of there that played in the SP. Drobot played against
Okay.
him for the 2 years. Um, uh, Burns, he was on Roanoke for a little bit, on Huntsville for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
remember that name.
yeah, a couple other guys.
That's cool. That's good. So yeah, that's someday I'm gonna venture up there and I'm gonna catch a junior game. People say it's just as good as any pro game in some places. So that's a bucket list item. So, but after your year at Alabama Huntsville, what was your plan moving forward? I mean, nobody's plan really is, and not to take away from the SP, but nobody's plan is to start, in the Fed or the SP. You got higher aspirations when you're young like that. What were you looking for?
I was like, uh, no idea what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And then I like college wasn't for me. The only thing I excelled at was art class. I got an
Yeah.
A. I got an A in art class, and
Nice.
other than that, I don't even know if I really showed up to the classes. Like, no, and my friend playing midget with in Colorado was over in Finland doing like some exchange program, and he was like, "Hey, you could play on our team." And I had nowhere else to go. I didn't want an agent, didn't do any of that. So I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So like he calls his coach and says, or the team manager says he's got a guy. Next week, I'm on the flight out to Finland with him. So,
Nice.
yeah, I just
Nice.
kind of played it by ear.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that's how the best adventures start. Is you're like, yeah, screw it, let's go.
Yeah, I got
So
nothing else going on.
yeah, that's right. That's right. That would have been good. So tell me a little bit about that, about your time in Finland. I mean, do they got the same rules there that they do? I've talked to a couple guys like Pietrowski on the team with you about playing in Australia, and you can only have 3 imports. Do they do the same thing in Finland?
Yeah, Finland's 2 imports,
I got you.
and it's interesting. Like I was there for 2 seasons. The first one, I was in a smaller town, and when I got there, I shook the coach's hand, said, "Hi, I'm Cody Dion," and he said hello. Didn't hear a word in English the rest of the season until after the final game when he said thank you. So he'd come in the locker room and speak Finnish, and then somebody'd have to translate it to me.
Oh wow.
So like I kind of got to do whatever I want because no matter what he was saying, I didn't know it. So I
Yeah.
just go do my own thing.
You did he just point to send you out on the ice, or how'd
Yeah.
that work? Or
I
like,
just,
Dion, go.
yeah, I just went rogue and just jumped whenever I wanted.
Yeah, just like, I haven't been out there for a while. So
Yeah.
did you get a lot of playing time while you're there? You get a lot of minutes on the ice?
Yeah, I got a decent amount, but it's like the style is way different. It's not as physical. If you got in a fight, it's like at least 3-game suspension.
Oh wow.
And yeah, they're all about stick handling and passing, like not like a lot of shots. They're always looking for like backdoor passes and plays like
Really?
that. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Did you learn? Did you use any of that to kind of craft your game moving forward, or did you just keep playing your own
Yeah,
way?
not a chance.
Yeah, so that's not your thing. I gotcha. I gotcha. Did you play with anybody over there that ended up moving on further into their careers, or?
In the Finnish leagues, I played
Yeah.
with some guys. Like my line mate, my second year was in on the Finnish national team,
Okay.
and he was a good guy. Then my other line mate was like number one in points in the second league in Finland the
Oh,
year before. So that's some
yeah.
pretty good players.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your time in Finland, like off the ice. I mean, it's got to be a different culture. I mean, coming from Colorado and going to Finland, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you probably stood out like a sore thumb too, because you're definitely bigger than most of those guys.
Yeah, and they're like super shy people, really nice, but like they all know English, but they didn't really talk at first until they get a couple drinks in you. And then they're like just asking all kinds of questions. And then they'd start talking politics, and I go, "Oh no, I don't care about that
Yeah,
stuff."
no, that's not my thing. No, they're trying to talk American politics.
Yeah, like they'd be like, "I don't like your president." And I'm like, "All right, well, I don't know what you want me to do about it."
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to go fire him?
Yeah.
Should have been. I don't. Do they got a president, or are they one of those places with a prime minister in Finland? I don't know any politics
I
there.
think it's a prime minister.
Yeah, I did just come back with that. Well, I don't like your prime minister, so
Yeah.
get him out of here.
Right?
No,
Yeah, he's
next
got a
thing you know,
bad
you're on the
haircut.
next flight out.
But yeah, like so it's dark all the time. It's like Alaska in the wintertime, you get like 3 hours of sunlight. So like if you went out, the bars would close at like 4. So you go home and you sleep and you wake up at noon and the sun's already going down.
Damn.
And then so you're just like tired and it's pitch black out. You're like, this is miserable.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. What would you try to do to cope and get through that after you kind of got into? I mean, you spent 2 seasons there. I mean, you had to have found some kind of coping. You have your room lit up with all kinds of lights.
Yeah. The first year was in the smaller town, so there wasn't anything to really do. And I didn't even have really cable. I just had an antenna. So I had like 7 channels on my TV, and they were basically just cooking channels that were in English. So I would watch cooking shows all day until I
Nice.
finally wised up and started reading.
Yeah,
So like I might as well do something if I'm sitting around. So
that's right.
started reading more books.
Did you learn how to cook some good meals while you were over there, or was it just pass the time watching stuff? Because I don't learn shit when I watch cooking shows.
Yeah, like I learned a couple things. The best one was lemon lime cheesecake.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was impressive to the ladies.
yeah, I imagine. That's awesome. That's awesome. You still mix one of them up every once in a while?
No, completely forgot.
No, no. Now maybe I reminded you. Maybe this weekend you make one for the
Yeah,
boys.
yeah,
But that's great. So, where was I going after that? Sometimes I do this. I lose my train. Oh, I was going to move on to the SP. So after Finland, what was your decision? You probably could have played there another year. I mean, you were there for 2 years. I mean, you numbers wise on paper you look good. But did you just decide enough of that dark, dreary place? And
yeah. Like it's fun to go overseas and like see the different culture and stuff. Like, but I was just ready to be closer to home. Like the 9-hour time difference is a bit of a hassle to talk to anybody.
yeah,
And
yeah,
with there only
definitely.
being 2 imports, you don't really have a friend to talk to most of the time.
Yeah,
So I was ready to just kind of get over to the States again,
I got
and
you.
wound up in Knoxville.
How did you find out about the SPHL? That's a question I ask everybody I have on here because when I growing up in Colorado, didn't even know this league existed, and so
Yeah, a good friend of mine named Freddie Bobian. He played for the Colorado Gold Kings
yeah,
back in the old Western Hockey League, I think that was. But he
yeah,
also played in
West.
Knoxville.
Okay,
So he played, and then he knew the coach, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll call up this guy and get you a shot there." And I was like, "All right, well, anything works."
yeah, that's right. Hockey. I just want to play hockey. So,
Yeah,
so that was you even got to called up to well, it was the Tulsa was in the CHL at the time. That was
yeah.
so you got called up that season for a little while. So that but what was it like in Knoxville when you got there? I mean, was it what were you expecting? I guess whenever you came to this league, what was your mindset on? Because a lot of people have different impressions of minor league hockey.
Well, like obviously, like when you're young, you want to get called up. You want to go as high as you can go. Just so
Yeah,
that was when I was in Knoxville. I wasn't like living in the moment. I was like, I'm going to get called up and move on to the next level.
yeah,
And so I didn't really have any like good relationships with the teammates. Like I was just showed up, put my boots on, went to work, and then went home. Like,
yeah.
and
Strictly business.
yeah, when you get older, you realize like those are the things you're missing out on. Like those moments and like everybody's having fun and you're just like focused on the next thing.
Yeah,
You don't live in that moment. So and then at the end of that season, like being in Tulsa, I was up in the next league, but I wasn't playing very often. I'd get like 3 shifts a game, and I'm like, this isn't really fun. I'd rather
yeah,
be in Knoxville when those guys were having like memorable moments.
yeah.
And yeah, so
I got you.
uh,
So that was the same time that was when the Colorado Eagles were in the CHL too, wasn't it? I think they were around
no,
there. Not yet.
the Denver Cutthroats were there.
Oh, the Cutthroats. I forgot about them. Yeah, yeah. They
Yeah,
only lasted like a season and a half.
yeah, like two for sure.
Yeah, they I think they made the finals and then they were gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's cool. So what? So when the next season, so you said you kind of changed things up, and I see you ended up in Mississippi with the River Kings that
Yeah.
obviously everybody knows are no more. So did Knoxville just not offer you a spot or?
No, they protected my rights. So I text the coach. I'm like, "Hey coach, when do you want me to report for camp?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm just going to trade you." So he protected me just to trade my rights.
That's awesome. So yeah, so do you remember who you got traded for?
Uh with my talent level, I had to have been traded for like 2 hotel rooms.
2 hotel rooms. That's awesome. That's great. That's great. So there's that story of that one dude who got traded for a team bus. I don't remember his name, but I remember hearing that story. There was some dude in I don't even think the league exists that he was in anymore, but they traded this one guy for a bus. So I mean anything's possible when you're in the minors.
Yeah, like anything they need.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you didn't play a whole lot in Mississippi that year. That was the year that you went to the FHL and played in Watertown and
Yeah. Uh, I started off playing, and then we were in Huntsville. I went down on like a 2-on-2, and this guy threw a pretty clean hip check on me. And I got to the bench and go, I think I broke a rib. And they're like, no chance you broke a rib. You'd know if you broke your rib. And I was
yeah.
like, all right, I guess I didn't. So played the rest of the game. And then on Tuesday at the gym, I went to our athletic trainer and I was like, hey, it's really hurting like right in front of my heart. And he's like, huh, that's interesting. And then we go get x-rays and I broke the rib right in front of my heart.
Holy shit. So maybe you were right then.
Yeah.
Maybe they should listen.
Yeah. And
Uh,
so I was like, oh, great. So back then they only had the 30-day IR. And like,
okay.
even if you like were going to be healthy in 3 days, you had to go in the 30 or nothing.
Oh wow.
So I tried to play through it and then Landmaster just let me go.
I gotcha.
So then I ended up going to Watertown. I knew a couple guys on that team that I had played with in Knoxville, and went up there. Uh, it was pretty good talent back then, and we had a really good team. We had like most of our team was SP players that just wanted to be closer to Canada.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, well, you guys, it was a good team. You guys won it all that year, and you were the MVP of the playoffs, right? Or is that
yeah,
another thing that? Yeah, so that's cool. So you definitely had a hell of a year then. So,
yeah, yeah.
but who'd you guys play in the championship game that year?
Danville.
Danville. Okay, they don't exist anymore. That's the
No.
Bobcats now.
Yeah, yeah, same
So,
rink.
yeah, exactly. I heard they put new boards up though.
Yeah, the ice is actually pretty nice.
Is it? That's good. I've been hearing all kinds of horror stories about things going on in that arena, and so that's good to hear that somebody's saying the ice is nice.
Yeah,
So,
back when me and it was Matt Ray was with me in Mississippi, and we went to Watertown. We were going to meet him in Dayton and then go play in Danville. So it was Dayton, Ohio, and then Danville. And so we had to take a Greyhound bus to get there. And I don't know if we had to, but like it was just the cheapest route. And
yeah,
you
that's
meet some
right.
characters on one of those things. And we're in Danville. We play in Dayton, then we go to Danville. We're playing, and Matt Ray gets high sticked in the chin, and the ref doesn't call a high sticking penalty because the ref said it was his own stick. He's like, "How am I going to hit myself in the face with my own stick?" But he was split open, definitely in his stitches. Gets
Oh wow.
off, and the doctor goes, "Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I had a few beers before I got here. Is that all right if I stitch you up?" And Ray's like, "Yeah, that's fine." And so he's stitching him up, and he's like, "Yeah, I had like 5 beers before the game, then like two a period." Like just like
Holy
the more he
crap!
kept talking, the more he was letting him know how much he actually drank.
Yeah, he's like a 12 pack in, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stick a needle in your
Yeah,
face."
and the scar probably needed like at least 12 stitches. I think he got like 5 or 6.
Oh wow.
So, so it never like healed. He was bleeding all the way home to Watertown on a bus.
Oh wow. That had to suck. Wow. So tell me about that bus ride, man. I've heard some awesome stories on Greyhound buses. I mean, homeless people just riding around because they ended up
Yeah,
with, $20 to get, 2 states
yeah,
over. So,
yeah. And they make like a stop like every 45 minutes or so. They stop at like every town,
oh
and
wow.
everybody rushes to get off the bus, smoke a cigarette, then get back on. So the trip took forever.
Oh,
Turns like a 5 hour trip into like 12. So
ouch. That's why it's cheap, right?
yeah,
But that's crazy. So after that, you started the next season in with the Berlin River Driver. I've never even heard of this team before. Where
that
was
was
this team at?
that was the FHL Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that team. I should have researched more. I'm really bad at my job. But
Well,
so you started out there, and then you worked your way back into the SP. So
yeah,
did you intend on just going and playing the FHL that year, or
yeah. I got drafted because Watertown had to do some expansion stuff to
okay?
their arena, so they're doing like a couple $1 million to their rink renovations, so they had to fold for the year. And so I got drafted to this team. I talked to the coach, and he promised me so much stuff. He's like, as soon as you get here, you're gonna get all this like brand new this and that, like anything you need, it's yours. And I'm like, okay, cool. I show up, and it's a disaster. And like they had all of us like like I don't know how many guys. They had 2 houses, and all the guys in 2 houses. But this one house I was in was huge,
Yeah.
but there's only one fridge for 12 people. It's not good. Not a good time.
Yeah, that's not
And
gonna work out.
and like yeah, so I played I don't know how many games, but one game I got 5 goals,
Nice.
And I was like, all right, I think it's time for me to go back to the SP.
Yeah. That's yeah, and then you ended up in Pensacola for
Yep.
man, you played with 3 teams that year. So tell me how that worked out. So you ended up in Pensacola. Did you go back down to Berlin, or did Pensacola trade you to Peoria, or how'd that
No,
all work out?
I was in Pensacola and like having an okay season, but the team was really good. And maybe it's just my style didn't really mesh up with them as well. But
Yeah.
they ended up releasing me.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm not going back to Berlin.
No.
Like that Euro trip movie where it's like nowhere near Berlin.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
not a
awesome.
chance.
Not a
They
chance.
they didn't even Berlin didn't even give me my last they'd pay you in cash and they didn't even give me my last 2 weeks pay because I left on payday. So they just held off on paying me and they're like, we'll give it to you when you get back.
What?
And I was like, no, give it to me now. And then they're
Yeah.
like, no, come here, get it back.
Yeah. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
It's like quitting your job and they don't give you your last paycheck. Did you ever end
Yeah.
up getting it?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's why that team doesn't exist anymore.
Right. And so I was like, well, I'm not going back there. So I'm done. So but then Macon calls me at Kerr. Kerr's the
Yeah.
coach of Macon. And he's talking to me. He's like, yeah, we wanted to get you earlier. So we're like, if you want to come here, like, yeah, let's talk about it. And I was like, okay, yeah, for sure. And then all of a sudden, Kerr goes, damn it, damn it. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I'm driving down the highway and I just ran out of gas. I'm gonna have to call you back.
That's freaking great.
And I was like, all right, yeah, cool. And then he didn't call.
No, he never called back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. He's here. He's in Birmingham now, so I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to hit him up and ask him. And be like, "What's up with never calling Cody back, man?"
Yeah.
But that's great.
And
So then
I went back to Colorado and like I was just planning on at least being done for the rest of the season. And I was at my buddy's bachelor party, and then my friend Mike Donald texted me. He was like, "Hey, our coach is going to call you, so be ready." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And they called me the next day, and they're like, "Yeah, we need you here tomorrow to play against Knoxville." So I flew out that day, played Knoxville that night, and
nice.
then it was 2 games against Knoxville, and then Monday practice, my name's on the board, go to coach's office, and I walk in there. I'm like, oh, he's going to release me after 2 days. Great.
Yeah.
I didn't even get a shot here.
Yeah.
And then I sit down, and he's pretty intimidating sometimes if you see him on the bench. And I'm sitting down, he's like, I'm still trying to figure out why Pensacola released you. And I was like, yeah, I'm not sure. He goes, because I love you.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely love the way you play.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, that note was very deceiving. It's like, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I've
no
seen this
fucking way.
before.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So you ended up playing a few more years there, and I mean I mean obviously you're still there, but in the middle you played in Roanoke back in the 18-19 season. What led you to Roanoke away from Peoria for a season?
Oh, it's in the minors with the veteran rule. It's like 900 games or 3 vets, right?
Yeah.
3 vets that equal 900 games, something like that. I don't know how it works,
Yeah,
but
somewhere around there. I should know better because
yeah.
but yeah, there's something along those lines.
So we had me, Mike Gertler, Ben Osgroba, and Dave Pichesny. We're all 4 going to be vets.
I gotcha.
And I was on the fence whether I was going to play or not, and those 3 were all in.
Yeah.
So, well, we thought they were, but so we had to protect those 3.
Okay.
And Dan Bremner, the coach of Roanoke, was my stallmate in Peoria.
Okay.
So when he got the coaching job down in Roanoke, I said, "Hey, if something doesn't pan out here, then I'll come play for you." So as soon as
Yeah.
I didn't get protected, called Dan up and signed a contract right away.
Nice.
And Peoria, then Chesney ended up taking the coaching job for Quad Cities.
Yeah.
So Guy texted me. He's like, "Hey, big man, if you're interested in playing, Chesney's taking the coaching job. We'd love to have you back." And I was
Yeah.
like, "I just signed with Roanoke."
Yeah.
So,
Too late, man. Too
yeah.
late. So what was your time like in Roanoke? I mean, it was one season. I mean, what was it like? Actually, my real question here is, what was it like playing your teammates, playing against your old teammates that first time you guys, Roanoke and Peoria, laced them up against each other? How was that for you?
I actually didn't play him till playoffs. I was out when we went up to Peoria for the 3 games.
Okay.
I was out and Peoria absolutely waxed us. I think it was like a 5-1 game, 6-0 game. Like
Yeah.
it was not pretty, but we had a lot of guys that were like called up and injuries and stuff, but
Yeah.
it wasn't pretty. So I hadn't played him until playoffs.
I got you.
And I it doesn't matter who I play against, like best friend or not, like I still play the same way.
Yeah.
So went out there and just played how I normally do. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
did you get a hold of any former teammates and drop the gloves in that one, or or
No,
no?
you don't really want to fight in playoffs.
Oh yeah, you said
Uh,
playoffs. Yeah, I
yeah,
promise I'm listening.
but
So,
it was funny. Most of the years in Peoria, I lived with Ben Osgroba, and like, yeah, he's one of my best friends. Me and him got tangled up in front of the net, and he went down, and I was like on top of him. And as he's trying to get up, I punched him right in the face, and like he was just looking at me like, "What? Like, I thought, what are you doing this for? I'm your friend." And the referee was like, "Hey," and I go, "It's okay. He's my best friend." And the ref's like, "Oh, all right."
That's great. That's great. We're buddies. We're gonna hug it
Yeah,
out afterwards.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So then you ended up going back to Peoria. Was that the year that was that the Pick'em year that ended up being Huntsville and Birmingham in the finals? Wasn't that what that year when
yeah,
you guys beat Peoria and you
yeah,
weren't supposed to? Yeah, I got you.
yeah.
So that's does everybody in Peoria blame you for that one?
Uh, they haven't said it to my face.
No.
No, actually, like Peoria fans are like surprisingly like they love the players. Like when they go to different teams, they're like, "We wish you all the best. Like, can't wait to see you when you come play here. You know, we miss you." But never really said anything negative towards me.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah, Peoria's got a really strong hockey history too. There, I mean, they had a AHL team, and I mean, so the fan base knows hockey a little better than some markets. I mean, I'm not going to name markets out because I want people to keep listening to the show. So, but there's some markets I've seen along the way where guys they just don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they're like, "Oh, fuck that guy, he's not us anymore." And I'm like, "But
Yeah,
last year you loved him."
yeah,
Like, I mean, you got to make up your mind. I mean, you either love him or you hate him. But,
yeah.
that's cool. So tell me a little bit about Peoria. What is it that keeps it bringing you back? I mean, you've been there for a long time now. And what's the appeal there? I mean, the team's always a freaking wagon. I know that. That's got to be.
Yeah.
But
I don't. It's like it's just something about the town that it's a blue collar town. You know, like it doesn't have anything flashy going for it. You're not gonna like go on a cross country trip and be like, "Oh, we gotta stop and see the Caterpillar facility museum." Like,
yeah, yeah,
uh, I mean, it's gray in the winter time. It's cold, but I love it. Like, there's a lot of good people here. Um, Guy pushes us pretty hard on the ice, but it kind of helps develop a character for after, like to grow as a person, to have better character. So it's a little bit more than hockey to me here.
I gotcha.
And yeah, we got like Hageman who grew up here, and he is an amazing hockey player, and he just
Yeah.
wants to stay here for his town. Uh, we got like guys like Mike Gertler live here now, and you just there's something about it, you just want to stick around. And like me and JM are stallmates, and like we are just like always talking about doing stuff, and we started a coffee club in our locker room.
Nice.
And so just to get all the guys together, just to shoot the shit right before practices and stuff. So I went out and bought a French press and a manual coffee grinder, and we decided we're going to do only local, like Peoria area coffee shops.
Oh, cool.
So instead of Starbucks and Dunkin' that you can get everywhere,
Yeah.
we're going local small business.
Well, that's cool.
And so like that's how to get in the club. You got to bring in grind or beans and stuff like that. And then we decided like we'd like to do player like videos at these local coffee shops. So we're gonna start doing that a little bit where me and him go to a local shop and help promote their business. So the word about this local company, like what they're doing, how good their coffee is and stuff to get like we want the whole community to thrive.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I know JM, he's a very charismatic personality. So I mean, I'm actually wearing his clothes right now. Well, not his clothes, but you know what I mean. But
I got JM gave me a sweater for
the House of
Christmas.
JMP.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're freaking. They're really good for where you're at. For where I'm at, it's a little overkill. I
Oh
don't think I need
yeah,
them this
I love
thick,
it.
but yeah, that's cool. I love JM. I loved him when he was down here. I actually had him on the podcast earlier this year.
Yeah. Well,
So that's a cool little partner to have in there. Where can people find these little videos at?
we haven't we posted one of just me making coffee in the locker room on the Peoria, but me and JM haven't made a video yet. I
Okay.
had Dave Aminion, our local sports reporter. He did an article encouraging like coffee shops to reach out to us,
Yeah.
and a few have already messaged me wanting to get on board. I was just at one today to talk to the owner, and me and JM are going to one tomorrow. Another one's mailing me coffee. They're about an hour away from Peoria,
I got you.
so we like that one's a military guy, veteran owned and operated coffee company, and he does small batch roasting.
Nice.
So it's like if we can give back to the community in time like this, we'd like just try and get things to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I mean, and then that's good because man, I hate Starbucks and I hate Dunkin' Donuts because they're like you said, they're everywhere. And I think Starbucks coffee tastes like ass for starters,
Well, yeah, I
but
don't know how old it is. This
yeah,
local stuff, they have to do it like in
yeah.
smaller batches, so it's fresh.
Yeah.
But
There's one in Nashville that's kind of like what you're describing to me. That's like the best coffee shop I've ever been to, and it's just this little tiny, locally owned business that's stuck there into a shopping center. And so,
yeah,
yeah,
like I was talking to the woman today. I said like the only reason I know about this place is when I was driving, I turned and looked to the left and saw the spot, the coffee, and I was like, oh, I could go for a coffee. Other than that, I would have been at Starbucks.
yeah,
Like you don't, there's not a lot of advertising, and
yeah.
so if we can advertise for them to get them known, that'd be great.
Absolutely. That's cool. Yeah. Well, whenever I start seeing some videos showing up from you guys, I think I follow both of you guys on at least Instagram. I'm going to share that up. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
appreciate it.
especially the Quad City fans, they travel to Peoria all the time. Vermilion County
Oh,
fans. So, I mean, they can go hit up coffee too. Who
yeah,
cares if it's you guys promoting it? So, I mean,
Quad City fans are pretty great too. Like they're pretty passionate fans.
yeah. And they're having a really good year this year too. So
Yeah,
the games between you guys, I've always kind of looked forward whenever I see a Peoria Quad City matchup. Whereas a few years ago, it was just you guys running them over, and
yeah,
nobody wants to watch that.
right.
So, but well, I mean, Peoria fans definitely want to watch that,
Yeah.
but I don't know how fun is it. So give me that. I've never asked this question. I don't know why I haven't, but like, say a game you guys are up, 6-1. How fun is that game as a player? I mean, is it after you're up by like 4 goals? Does it just kind of not as fun?
Yeah, like, because if you're an athlete, like, you want to compete and, like, go hard all the time, so you don't really wanna coast through things. You
Yeah.
always wanna push yourself, so it's always, like, fun to have a good battle,
Yeah.
and, I don't know, I start goofing off, like, I have like, Guy thinks it's hilarious. I have, like, the ability to, like, you wouldn't even think I'm engaged in the game until I'm on the ice, and then I'll
Yeah.
be on the bench, like, saying the dumbest things, and like, Quad City, put me and a guy on the kiss cam. So I was like, "Hey, Klooch, give me a kiss." So I leaned over and kissed him on the cheek,
That's awesome.
just like
That's
mid-game.
awesome. That's great. Oh, that's awesome. I wish I'd have been there for that game. I bet you the whole arena was just they were in shock. They were like, "No, this is what no, this is we were kidding." So,
Well, Scott, down, Birmingham wasn't happy with me. You gotta know Scott. He's behind, Birmingham's, net.
yeah.
Yeah, he's always, like, blowing kisses and stuff, and so when I go out there, I skate around and I go kiss the glass right in front of him. So he commented on it. He's like, "Are you cheating on me?"
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's good. It's good to have fun on the ice. I mean, I always like talking to guys that have personalities. There's some, and I'm sure you've had teammates that way that they're just so focused and zoned in that it's almost like they're not even having fun out there anymore.
Yeah.
And I love a personality on the ice, and generally it's the guys like you that are always getting in the middle of the shit and pounding people's heads in every once in a while. So was
Yeah.
wa- was that something like without just because of your size? Was that something that you knew you were just going to have to do in the game? As you knew
Yeah.
you were going to be a fighter, like no way around it.
Yeah, like, if you're not, getting in fights, at this size, you're kinda useless.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
hockey's not really like it used to be, and, some fans don't really understand that,
no,
where, like, they're like, "How come this guy's not fighting right now?" And you're like, "Well, it's a week before playoffs, and do you want him to break his hand just so you could see a fight, or do you want him to help contribute in playoffs?"
yeah, yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Or, like, you have a defenseman that's, playing 35 minutes a game. He can't afford to get in a fight because that's 35 minutes of time that the team can't afford.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the game. I mean, just the skill all the way up and down the board of all the leagues. I mean, it's turning into a faster game. I mean, it's fighting. I don't know that it'll ever go away, but it's definitely it's kind of a back burner now. So what do you got any good on ice fight stories from the past that you want to share? Or
Uh, I had a fun one. I David Siegel was my captain
oh,
in Knoxville,
yeah,
and then we were in Pensacola together. And in Knoxville, me and him didn't really hang out. Like I said, in Knoxville, I was a bit of a dud and didn't get to know the guys. And he'll tell you, he's like, "I hated you." He's like, "You were such a loser." And then in Knoxville, we became, or once we were both in Pensacola, we became really good friends.
yeah,
And I went to Peoria, and then Pensacola was up there, and we're I don't know what happened, but somehow me and him started fighting.
just all of a sudden.
Yeah, like he was saying something to somebody else, and I was just there, and I would rather Siegel fight me than the guy he was going to fight. So
Yeah,
we started fighting, and ended up half his nameplate fell off his jersey, like was coming undone. So we're
yeah,
in the box. We're in the box, and he goes, "Yeah, my shoulder's done. That was my last fight. I'm done after this." I was like, "Oh, really?" And so we're just chatting back and forth. He's like, "Yeah, I think I'm out." And he takes off the rest of his nameplate and hands it to the scorekeeper to give to me.
nice,
And I
nice.
like put it in my shirt,
Yeah,
like I was gonna keep it forever.
yeah.
But we still had half the game to play. So they're like, "Give it back. He has to put it on his jersey."
That's awesome. He wasn't thinking that through, but maybe
Yeah.
he meant he was done with the game as well as fighting. So he's
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna sit this one out, man. It's your game now.
Yeah.
So that's all. Did he ever end up giving it to you again, or did it end up staying on his
No,
jersey? No.
no.
That's great.
But yeah, he got a couple games in. He played in Knoxville for Pensacola this year, and then he
Yeah.
just got done playing in Columbus.
Yeah, I think you're right. I seen it. I know he was in Knoxville, and I seen he got picked up, yeah, somewhere else. So it's crazy
Yeah,
to think that he's still playing in the league. I mean,
he still got it.
yeah,
I talked to him yesterday actually, and he's like, "I'm 4 games away from 400, so he's gonna get it somehow."
yeah, he's gonna get it. You need to get him up in Peoria for a couple of
Yeah,
games. To see if he could just make it around every team that needs to fill a void
yeah,
with all the freaking call ups and shit going on now. I mean, it's not surprising to see a guy like him show up on
yeah.
the score sheets
As
anymore.
long as you
So
still got skates.
yeah, that's right. That's right. It's crazy what you're seeing, and so I think the ECHL is grabbing guys out of college now. They're staying away from the SP a little bit this last couple of weeks, which is good for SP teams, but bad for some of these guys, because like you said, you all the goal originally is to go up top.
Yeah,
It's so you like to see guys get called up, but you hate it at the
yeah.
same time as a fan or even a teammate. So,
Yeah,
but
I would be most pissed for the jersey auctions.
yeah.
You buy somebody's jersey and then they get called up and never come back.
Yeah, yeah. That's always and those things go. I don't know what they go for in Peoria, but I mean, some of the I've stood around for some of the ones in Birmingham, and they're going for like $1,000. I'm like, that's a lot of freaking money.
Yeah,
So,
but
but
they like the fans. That's how much it means to them, though. So
yeah,
that's kind of like one of the reasons we got some guys that like have been around in the SB for so long is they're loyal to the city.
yeah,
When you got a
absolutely.
lot of guys like in Huntsville, they keep coming back, and guys here, and like
Yeah,
you just fall in love with your city, and you recognize that your fans love you. So
yeah. So why go anywhere else? So
yeah,
who wins the jersey war all the time? You guys got to have a little inside the locker room bet going on, or like game, right? Where whoever's jersey goes for the most, is it Hageman that gets it most of the time?
mine usually goes for the most,
Does it?
and I think it's because Hags has been here longer, so everybody has one of his jerseys already.
I gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense.
But
So
mine will only go for like $25 more, so it's not like a huge gap.
yeah. No, that's still better. But yeah, see, everybody still loves a big guy, a guy that gets in the grit. That's what everybody still
I,
loves, that kind of
I
player.
think it's to make sure the jersey's not too tight,
Yeah.
because I got the largest jersey.
I gotcha. Yeah. Your jersey and the goalie jerseys, those are the
Yeah,
biggest ones. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
So, I got you. So, man, I don't want to take up any more. Holy, it's almost been an hour, man. I'm sorry. So, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate you coming on, and it was a blast talking to you. Maybe somewhere later on down the road we can do this again.
Yeah, I got nothing else going on, so whenever you
Yeah.
need me.
Yeah, definitely, man. So like I said, I appreciate it, and best of luck to you guys the rest of the season. And I hope to see you guys in the mix again, because it's always fun in playoff time when Peoria is a part of things.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the end of the year push here.
Yeah, definitely. See if you can finally get over that hump. Hageman and a few other guys, they know how to do it. They did it last year. So
Yeah.
so yeah, there you go. But all right, man, I'm not gonna take up any more of your time. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Thanks for having me.
Well, there you have it, Cody Dion. Love him or hate him, you got to love that interview. He's a great guy. So, and that's what I need a lot of you guys to start understanding. These guys that you hate so bad all the time, that you're hating on because of things they're doing on the ice. You need to realize they're probably some of the best guys off the ice. And I've never met a guy that is considered a tough guy on ice that is a complete douche off ice. It's that's not how it works. They're usually the best guys. So love him or hate him, you gotta at least respect what he's doing out there and what he's done. And I hope you guys enjoyed that interview as much as I enjoyed talking to him. So that was great. And I know, Evansville fans, I still haven't had a Thunderbolt on. I'm working on it. But while we're at it, just enjoy this for me, please. Don't go away. Don't go away. Just stick around for a little while longer. So let's move on now. Let's talk about a little bit about the league, and I'm going to be honest with everybody right now. I didn't get to do a whole lot of hockey on Friday night because my puppy, who is 4 months old, decided that he was going to attempt suicide, and he ate some ant poison, and that was not a good night. So I ended up having to take him to the little doggy hospital. I actually started out taking him to the vet, and the vet, they were kind of freaked out about it, and they said, "Man, we really need him to stay overnight. It's going to be expensive, but if you can send him to a different vet, an animal hospital, and they'll watch him overnight so he doesn't have seizures and blah blah blah." So that was how my whole Friday night went. Basically, is I took him over there, and it cost me a small fortune. And for anybody that knows me that's listening, I've always said I'm never going to spend a lot of money on a dog at a vet. Well, that's not true anymore. I did it, and I love the dogs, so it was worth every penny. But anyways, so I didn't have a lot of hockey on Friday night. I didn't get to pay a lot of attention to it, so bear with me on this one. I'm just going to try to take a little walk around the league, and we're just going to go from there. So I know we'll start with Birmingham because, as you guys know, I cover them, so I do watch them a little bit closer. And Birmingham did get the win against Pensacola. It was really kind of a much needed win. Birmingham has just really been looking to get in the win column, and it was nice to see it finally work out for them. But they almost blew it. They really did. They were up and they were doing really well. And Pensacola, they made a comeback, and it. At one point, Birmingham was leading 5-2 heading into the third period, and then Pensacola stormed back and got 3 goals in the third period. Ultimately, the Bulls won that one 6-5, and it's worth noting in that one that Seth Enzer, I remember a couple weeks back, or you guys remember, hopefully, that he was talking about how he still didn't get his first goal. Seth Enzer got that monkey off his back. He got his first goal in that game, so congrats to you on that, Seth, out there, if you're listening, which you're probably not, but if you are, congrats on that. So Birmingham got that win, and Birmingham, ever since Kerr's come in as the associate head coach, you're seeing a different Birmingham team. And I know a lot of you guys probably don't watch the Bulls unless they're playing your team, but if you remember back to earlier in the season, the team that you've seen as the Bulls, they're playing a lot more loose out there. You're seeing a lot more, a little bit different playing style, and I think that's because it's because Kerr's there, but it's because Simchuk's got some help now. So imagine trying to coach a whole hockey team by yourself. That's tough to do. I mean, you're going to miss things, and now he's got some help, and we all know that Kerr is a great coach, and he was a great coach for years in Macon, and so he's definitely going to make an impact. But the Bulls are looking better. So that's enough of that. So I'm not gonna go all over on that one. But another game that happened Friday night and that I didn't get to watch, it was Evansville and Vermilion County, and Evansville just handled business. Vermilion County is they're still struggling to find goals. They lost that one 4-1. And it's got to be tough when you're out there. And I know, like, talking back with the Bulls hadn't been scoring a lot of goals until this either. And it's just eventually something will have to click. And another thing that's happening with Vermilion County is, I mean, if you look at the transaction wire, they're trading players left and right. They're getting players called up left and right. I believe today they actually just got a goalie from Knoxville. Let me pull that up so I don't look like a complete and total buffoon on here. But I'm almost positive they got a goalie from Knoxville, and Luke Erickson. No, that was not a goalie. That's a defenseman. Yeah, I'm an idiot. But anyway, and there's something else that happened out of the weekend for Vermilion County. Ryan Devine, another guy that I hear everybody hates, but he's probably another guy like Cody Dion that you'd love to talk to off the ice. But he got suspended for slew footing, and as we all know, slew footing is probably the dirtiest play in hockey. And I didn't see it, like I said, but he's not serving that 1-game suspension right now, but because he got called up to Fort Wayne, so he'll spend his time up in Fort Wayne, and then after that, he's still going to have to serve that suspension before he can play another game in the SPHL. But yeah, so he's down and out. And then another game that we had on Friday night was the Macon Mayhem and the Fayetteville Marksmen, and it looked like I'm just starting with the three teams on the bottom of the barrel. So Macon again didn't get a lot of goals, and it's worth noting that Kelly, who got called up to the coast, actually got his first win in the ECHL this past weekend too, after spending some time down in Macon. So good for him. That's awesome that moving up, doing great things at the next level, and you hope he continues to do it. Unless you're a Mayhem fan, you want him back, but you can't be selfish. You got to let these guys let it ride. But yeah, Fayetteville exploded in that one, 3 goals in the first period, and then they added another one in the second. Macon finally got one in the third period, but there was nothing to it. So Fayetteville won that one. The next one up was we had Peoria in Roanoke hard at it. They had a little weekend series. It was a very entertaining series. It was one of the ones that I told you guys was definitely a must watch, because Roanoke's playing well right now. Peoria's playing well right now. And I thought the game would be a lot closer, but Peoria just they laid it down. And it's also worth noting Hageman was the player of the month last month, and he's on it. And Hageman's always going to do great things. I feel like I don't give him enough love on this program. I talk about so much other stuff, but Alex Hageman is just doing Alex Hageman things, and the SPHL's taking note. They're giving him all these weekly and monthly honors. So that's good. It seems like he's always scoring a goal, and you always see certain names. I'll look at it right now. So you got McPherson, Bear, Hageman, Godbout, Bear. Those are pretty much the same names you see every week, except for J.M. Pietrowski wasn't on that one. But if I busted it open, I'm sure he's on an assist somewhere. But they ended up winning that one 5-1. CJ Stubbs got the only goal for the Rail Yard Dogs that night. And that was your Friday night last week. Nope, it wasn't. Huntsville Havoc played the Quad City Storm. They had a little weekend series with them and Huntsville won that one 6-2. Huntsville handled business. Pia Santini got 2 goals. Jacob Barber added to his, and Quad City. I guess I can't tell you. I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I don't want to lie to you, but it looks to me on the score sheet that they just didn't really get things rolling. They went into the third period down 3-1, and then in the third period, if you just look at that, they lost the third period 3-1. So Quad City struggled that one. They're still a good team, great team, and that was another one of those series that I thought was going to pan out a little bit better, but Huntsville said no. They said no mo. And we'll move on to Saturday as Macon and Fayetteville played again. Fayetteville found some goals in this one. Macon found some goals in this one. Fayetteville won this one 6-3, but Macon was finding the back of the net a little bit better, but they just fell short again. And Macon's really struggling. They, like I said, last week, 2 weekends ago, they fell to that last spot in the league, and it's just it's kind of gloomy down there for them right now. So, but Macon fans, hang in there. I know you love your team, and I had Caleb Cameron last week on, and just hang in there for Macon fans. You can't win it every year, but and things will get better. Things will get better, hopefully. It's never good when you have really, really bad teams in the league. You want everybody to be competitive. Not to say Macon's not competitive, though. So enough of that before I say more stupid stuff that makes me sound like an ass. So we'll talk about Peoria and Roanoke playing. So this game was more of what, I don't know. It really wasn't more of what I thought. I thought these games would be a lot closer, but Roanoke did win this one. Peoria, they only scored a goal. It was from McPherson, and if you keep Peoria out of the back of the net, or any other team that for that matter, probably going to win the game. And the Roanoke won it 3-1. Mac Jansen got one, and O'Day got a pair of goals. And all 3 goals for Roanoke happened in the first period. And they just buckled down at that point and didn't let a whole lot in. Peoria got that one, like I said, in the second period. So that little weekend series was split, and that was about what I think I was expecting. I was expecting both teams to grab one there. I mean, like I said, Peoria is a wagon right now. Roanoke's rolling down there. They're playing well, and so that was definitely going to be a good one. So then we'll jump into the game that I probably know the most about this weekend because I was there. The Pensacola Ice Flyers traveled to Birmingham to play the Bulls, and it seems like that's all that happens in Birmingham is, well, with Birmingham lately, is playing Pensacola. And after Pensacola dropped that one the night before and had that comeback, they jumped out quick in this one. They got a goal quick, and it was 1-0 heading into the second, and then it Parrish took the game over for Pensacola. He scored 4 goals in this game, and it was crazy how every time Birmingham would get some momentum, it seemed like Parrish was the guy that would just go put one in the back of the net. And Pensacola ended up winning this one 7-4. The game was a lot closer than the score sheet says. Birmingham, it was late in the third period where things really started falling apart for the Bulls. But at one point they battled back. It was a 2-goal game after I think Tisch got a goal or Brody Duncan got that 4th goal. It was only a 1-goal game at that point, and it was looking good. But Parrish and Bondarenko. That's a fun name to say. I probably said it wrong, but They scored a couple late in the third, and that was all she wrote. Pensacola was not going to be denied. They handled business, and so they split their weekend series with the Bulls 1-1, and that was a good game. And something cool about that game too was it was they were you know how teams around the league, they give out free jerseys and this, that, and the other thing, and so there was free kids jersey night in Birmingham, and me and my infinite wisdom, paying attention, being prepared, knowing everything. I'm showing up to the rink and there's like a line of cars for miles. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Completely spaced it. But it was kids' jersey night. And I said all that to say this. It was a freaking sellout. It was a sellout there. And now, those that have been to the Pelham Civic Center know it's a smaller arena, but 4,137 seats were filled there. And that is impressive in any team anywhere in the SPHL. That is an awesome thing to say. I mean, that was a great crowd, and they all really stuck with it. You started seeing some of them leave at about 10 minutes left to go in the third when Pensacola had a 3-goal lead, and people started leaving. And I mean, I don't know, if you're not a big time hockey fan, yeah, you're probably going to get out of there. But it drives me crazy when you see people leaving early, and they missed an almost comeback too. Is what it is. They missed Birmingham grabbing a couple, coming within one, and like I said, ultimately they lost. But they missed some really good hockey because that third period was a good period. And like I said, props to the Bulls organization for getting that sellout, because that's impressive to do in the minor leagues. So maybe that's maybe every weekend they need to give out kids jerseys or something like that. And so it was a good time. But moving on, go to a game, an exciting game that night, Huntsville and Quad City. So I told you the night before, Huntsville handled business. This one was a lot closer. So it ended up going into overtime, and nobody could score. It ended up going into the shootout. And let me pull this up real quick so I'm not lying to you. The shootout went a lot of rounds, and I know the captains buried the game winner in the shootout, Piacentini. But so yeah, we ended up going. Let me count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds in the shootout before it was finally decided, and Piacentini got it. Got the one the go ahead goal, and that's I like the shootout. I know a lot of people don't, but that's pretty exciting. It does suck that a team sport is kind of being decided by, a one-on-one competition. But at the same time, I mean, the fans love it. I mean, it's great. In a shootout, the building's just electric. When the team scores, the place is insane. And whenever the other team doesn't score, the away team doesn't score. And so that was great. I mean, that was a really good finish to a really good game. And I went back and watched bits and pieces of it, and that was some good hockey out there. And neither one of those goaltenders wanted to give it up, because the last the last five shooters for Quad City were blanked by Vorva and of the Havoc, and Birkin, who fresh back from the ECHL, he just couldn't stop Piacentini, but he was stopping him. He stopped he stopped 6 or 7 in a row. He let the first 2 in, and then he stopped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7. Stopped 7 straight before Piacentini finally got one in. So you can't take anything away from either goaltender in this one, and it's just it's one of those games where it was a hard work game, and Quad City definitely deserved the point they came out of with that one, and Huntsville absolutely just deserved the 2 points, obviously, but it's a good game. These are the games that that make you want to watch hockey, is I guess when you see a game like that. But that was it for the weekend. So let's take a look at the standings now. Let me pull those up, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So Huntsville is they're still spreading things out. They got 47 points now, 23-3-1, number 1 in the league, 7 points ahead of the Ice Bears. But is Huntsville the hottest team in the league right now? We'll go to the last 10, 8-2. Yeah, that's their record. 3-0, 3 straight they've won. But in second place with 40 points is the Knoxville Ice Bears. That's who I still think is the hottest team in the league. They're 6-0, 8-1, 0-1 in their last 10. But Knoxville is looking really good right now. And Huntsville can't slip up. They can't slip up because Knoxville will be right there banging on the door, just like Quad City will. So Quad City's sitting there right behind them with 38 points. They're 2 points back of the Ice Bears. So the top 3, it's been the same top 3 for most of the season to this point, as we're getting closer to the midway. But I mean, it's very close. And then waiting right below Quad City's Fayetteville, and Fayetteville's won their last 3, and they're sitting there with 35 points. Fayetteville's looking good. They're handling business. Like I said, they did what they needed to do against Macon over the weekend, and they're looking pretty good. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10, and I need to jump back to Quad City because I just seen this. So Quad City has been struggling a little bit, but they're getting the points. So they're 4-2-1-3. So, but out of those losses they've had, they've gained 4 points in those losses. So they're still making it happen. In their last 10, they've only had 2 games that they didn't get points in the standings. So not bad, not good, considering everybody around them is on winning streaks. Everybody above them is, you got a 6-game win streak, 3-game win streak, and then right below them, 3-game win streak. So it looks bad when you look at the standings, but I'm not counting Quad City out. Definitely not counting them out. I know early on in the season I was kind of hard and down on them, and I've said this a couple of times because they were just playing the same 2 teams. And Peoria started out the season not really playing well. And Vermilion County, we all know they brand new team, and you don't expect them. And so I was kind of like, I don't know about Quad City, but I've said it before. I'll say it again. Quad City's the real deal, so you got to watch out for them. So let's jump down to 5th in the standings. You got Peoria, who's sitting there in a 3-way tie. It seems like 5th through 7th has been a 3-way tie for the last 152 years. But the Peoria is sitting up there. I don't know what the tiebreaker is that keeps them up there. I need to know this stuff because you guys depend on me to know stuff, and I fail you. But anyway, so Peoria, 13-5-1. They're on a 1-game losing streak because of that Roanoke loss, but they're 8-2 in their last 10. So Peoria is definitely looking good. They are trending up. They're making moves. They're doing good things. And then right below them is Roanoke, who has played 2 more games than Peoria. And as I look at it, that may be how they're setting these up. I don't know, because Pensacola is the other team tied, and Pensacola's played 27 games. I don't know. I'm not going to just sit here and speculate on things. Someday I'll have the answer for you. Maybe next week. You never know. But anyways, so Roanoke's sitting back there with 30 points. They're 7-2-0-1 in their last 10. So they're on the winning side of things. So you get all these teams in the middle of the standings, and they're just they are winning consistently. Is it because they're playing all these teams down at the bottom? No, they all can't play the same 3 bottom teams. They're beating each other. They're beating up on each other is what they're doing. But that's why you got the 2s and the 1s here and there, is they're splitting weekend series against each other, and it's a good time to be a SPHL fan because there's a lot of good hockey going on when you're watching a lot of these teams. And Pensacola is the other team, like I said, with 30 points, and they've played 27 games this year, and I think 26 of them were against Birmingham and Huntsville. But They're on a 1-game winning streak. They've kind of been so-so here lately, but they're 4-4-1-1 in their last 10. So sitting right there at 500, but they're the 2 1s at the end. That's points in the standings, and those are going to matter, especially whenever you're sitting here in a 3-way tie. So Pensacola is technically 7th in the standings, second to last playoff spot. So they'd be playing Knoxville if the playoffs were to start today. And I mean, those points are going to matter, because do you want to play Knoxville in the first round, or do you want to jump up 2 spots and maybe match up better against Fayetteville or Quad City? I don't know. I'm not saying Pensacola matches up better against any of those teams, but I mean, it's close. So getting those points matters. The 4-4-1-1 it's a so-so record, but the 1-1 is that's 2 points to the standings. So very important 2 points. To jump into the last playoff spot, the Evansville Thunderbolts, a team that started off hot, and I don't want to piss off Thunderbolt fans. You already think that I hate you guys because I don't bring your players on, but like I said, I'm going to bring one on. Just work with me here. Work with me. If I'm working to get one. So, they've been struggling as of late, but they're 4-6 in their last 10. They're sitting in the 8th and final spot, but they're sitting comfortably in the 8th and final playoff spot with their 26 points. They're right above 500 right now at 13-12. They don't have any overtime losses or shootout losses this year. So I like whenever the standings are clean. I hate having to add those extra numbers in. Growing up a football fan, you don't have that. Well, I don't know. Nowadays, it seems like every season there's a freaking team tying in the NFL, which is stupid. Nobody should tie in professional sports. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. But yeah, I don't like those extra numbers, especially when I got to talk about it, because that's a lot of numbers to say. And you guys know I struggle with words as it is already. Anyway, so that's where Evansville is. I back on track. Let's get back on track here. So Evansville sitting in 8th, 13-12, 26 points, and the next closest team to them is Birmingham with 12 points. So that's the cushion Evansville has right now. But I'm telling you guys right now, Birmingham's making some changes. They're getting better as the season moves along, so you can't sleep on them. You can't sit there and feel like, oh, we got this comfortable lead. We'll get that 8 seed. Maybe we'll move up and blah, blah, blah. Because the way Birmingham's kind of getting things to come together, you're starting to see the scoring come together these last couple of games. And they just today, recording on a Monday, it's not in the SPHL transactions, so technically I'm breaking it. But and if you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen it, which also reminds me, I need to tell you guys to follow me on Twitter. Boom, there's the logo. Awesome. But Hayden Stewart's coming back. So that was something. Birmingham picked up a couple of goalies for the weekend that came from the Danbury Hat Tricks. Brian Wilson, and forgive me for the other name, I don't remember. But they did all right. I mean, there was a lot of goals scored against on the weekend. 6 one night, 7 the other night. But you can't always blame that on the goaltenders, because that happens to Austin Lotz and Hayden Stewart. But good news for the Bulls. Stewart's coming back. He got released by the ECHL team he was playing for. So that's good news for the Bulls. So and Stewart's really been the better of their two, between him and Lotz this year, in my opinion. Stewart's been the one that's kind of stood out a little bit better and has been playing a little better. And so that we'll see how that pans out with Stewart back. And the Bulls have found out that they know how to score goals, which we've all kind of thought all season long. But so wherever I was going with all this, Evansville needs to. They can't be complacent, which they're not. They're pros. But Birmingham possibility Birmingham might turn the ship right and make a run at this 8 seed. I mean, the season's still, we're not quite at the halfway point, so the season's still good. But after that, you got Vermilion County, who they got their 3 wins. They're 3-17-2, 8 points sitting there, and they're on a 3-game losing streak. But their last 10, they've got 2 of those 3 wins, and they're 2-7-1. So Vermilion County not looking too bad. They moved up a spot in the standings. They're not in last place anymore, but they got a lot of work to do. And I think a lot of the work, really, when you look at the transaction page every day, is they've got to have players that stay there. It just seems like every time I look, they got players that are getting called up and going there and going over here. And I mean, it's just like they can't win for losing right now. So they're losing their goaltenders. They're losing this. They're losing that. So I'd like to see that team, the same players on the ice for, 3 consecutive weeks and see what happens. And then I'll tell you if Vermilion County sucks or not. Because I know if people come at me because I'm so nice about everybody around the league. Well, no, if I think a team really sucks, I'm going to tell you they suck, and we're gonna do that right now. The Macon Mayhem are kind of sucking right now, but I don't like saying that because they're just having a bad time. Let's put it that way. But the Mayhem are last in the standings. They're really struggling. They're 1-9 in their last 10. They're on a 6-game losing streak. Things were starting to look all right for them for a while. Whenever you seen they were getting some good goaltending, but they just can't score. That's what's happening with them, and that's a story of all 3 teams in the bottom of the standings, and that's why I'm saying now that Birmingham knows how to score. They figured it out these last 2 games, and maybe they remember it. They can probably start making some moves, but Vermilion County and Macon, they still have got to learn how to score. It's tough. I don't know if everybody's choking up on the sticks a little too much. I don't know. I mean, a lot of these guys are. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. If I knew the answer, I'd probably be a coach in the league if I had all the answers. But instead, I'm just an idiot sitting here talking to you guys about a bunch of stuff that most of you probably don't even want to hear. But I appreciate you doing it. I appreciate you tuning in every week. And I also appreciate if you guys would tell all your friends about it. When you're at the rink, be like, hey, I listened to this podcast from this dumbass, but he brings on good guests. But so just tune out after the guest goes off because he's just going to ramble on about stuff that I'm pretty sure he has no clue from. And he's probably reading it off of a script. But I'm not because, like I said, I'm just looking at standings and stuff. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. I'm done rambling, done mumbling, blah, 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 blah. This was a tough weekend for me in hockey. I felt completely unprepared for what I was going to do tonight, but I feel like we did all right. So let's look at the schedule before we leave. Let's look and see what is coming up this week that we want to talk about. What do I want to try to force you guys to watch, even though you probably don't listen to me? So we got a weird week. So we got weird games all over the place. We got Knoxville's playing Huntsville on the 11th. That's going to be an awesome game. Watch it. Nobody else is playing on the 11th. You don't have an excuse not to watch it. If you're listening to me, you have hockey TV more than likely because you're dedicated to this league. So you don't got an excuse. Watch it. That's going to be a good one. Top 2 teams in the league. 7 Central at Pharmacy First Ice at Probst Arena. I'm going to have to take a -1 on that one. I should know it's in Huntsville. Let's put it that way. So you got that. Birmingham and Macon are playing. So one of those teams is going to get 2 points on the 13th. So and it's in Macon. So we'll see. Last time Macon played the Bulls, they beat them. So it might not have been last time, but a couple times. At one point this season, Macon played the Bulls and they beat them. And so don't count the Mayhem out. Maybe they don't suck. Maybe I'll be eating my words, but I still don't think they suck. I think they suck at scoring. So that's the way I want to put it. But you got that. And then the Roanoke's going to play Fayetteville again. This one's in Fayetteville. We're not going to talk a lot about that one, but watch it because they're always good games. And those 2 teams have got to hate seeing each other. I mean, they probably just want to punch each other in the face because they're sick of looking at each other, not because they don't like each other. They're just done. They want the faces to look different maybe, and they're just going to rearrange them with their fists. Who knows? But Macon and Knoxville are playing also on the 14th, and that should be, I don't know. That should probably be a game Knoxville wins easily, but who knows? Macon might whoop the crap out of the Bulls and have a chip on their shoulder and then go and beat the number 2 team in the league. Anything can happen. But we also got Quad City is traveling to Evansville. Huntsville's going to play Pensacola. That's Pensacola. You guys have got to get out of the state of Alabama. There is more teams in the league. No, I know. I understand. It's the way the schedules is. I've even said it here on the podcast. Why? It's money. There was no season last year. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying it again. So Vermilion County is traveling to Peoria. And that Vermilion County beat Peoria. So that might be a good game to watch. And we got Knoxville's going to play another one with Macon. In Macon. So Knoxville's got Huntsville, and then they got 2 games in Macon. They got a 3-game road trip heading up this way coming up for them. And then another game between Fayetteville and Roanoke. Good times. Evansville's traveling to Huntsville. Birmingham's traveling to Pensacola. That's another one. Come on. All right, Pensacola. Stop playing Alabama teams. So those two teams have got to be sick of each other because that's going to be what, the fifth time for the Bulls. It'll be fifth and sixth games that they play Pensacola. Pensacola's had I think it'll be in 7 games. It'll be the 5th time for them, but I might be wrong. Who knows? But Vermilion County has also got they're going to play again in Peoria, and Fayetteville and Roanoke. They just love each other. They're playing 3 games against each other this weekend. Way to go, boys. Have fun. Have at it. So Quad City will play Peoria. That's going to be a good one. It's in Peoria. And Evansville's traveling down in Knoxville. And then Monday, there's a game in Birmingham between Huntsville and the Bulls. And that'll complete this upcoming weekend's slate of games. The Monday afternoon game in Birmingham is a game I've been going to for a while now. It's a pretty cool little deal. I know a lot of teams do it. They do the skate with the Bulls afterwards. And so all the kids get to go out there and hang out with the players and get autographs and all that. And all the fans get to talk to the players. But it's a pretty cool game. And it's always against Huntsville. And the Huntsville Bulls games are always fun games. So if you're not at work on Monday afternoon, if you work a government job or whatnot, and you get to sit at the house, tune into the game. It's like I said, Huntsville and Birmingham always play each other good, and it'll be a fun game to watch, and it'll be a good way to kill a Monday afternoon if you're sitting at the house. So yeah, that is it. I am done babbling on and on. It has been an hour and a half, and I feel bad that I kept Cody Dion for an hour, but he was great. He didn't complain. He didn't punch me through the screen. So all is well in the house. So that is it for episode 13. Thank you for listening. If you're watching it on YouTube, like it, please. Comment. Tell me I suck. Tell me I'm good. I tell you guys to do this all the time. Nobody leaves comments. Only a couple people like it. Unlike it. Dislike it if you don't. Give me a thumbs down. I don't care. I just want some interaction. I want to see that you people are watching this and listening to it, because I don't think anybody makes it to this point in the podcast. I think everybody just turns me off at this point. But yeah, I mean, leave me comments. And if you don't watch it on YouTube and you're listening to it, hit me up on Twitter. You can see my that's my Twitter right there. Right there. I've always seen people do this on YouTube videos, and I've wanted to do it. I can't believe it took me so long. So anyways, that's it. Until next time.